Coronavirus. I'm assuming you've heard of it by now, so I'll skip the intro. This is Shenzhen, by the way, China's tech capital. Many of the electronics we use every day pass through here. A normally hustling, bustling city has been turned into somewhat of a ghost town in recent weeks. For example, if you check the world map on Snapchat and zoom right into the Shenzhen area, sure, you'll find the usual Snapchat drivel and cat videos, but also a lot of interesting coronavirus-related videos. For example, these tankers spraying disinfectant into the air, people having to stay home, and of course people reminiscing about the good old days when they only had to worry about pollution in the air. Anyway, despite turning the entire globe into a game of Plague Inc., how is all this impacting the tech industry? Will the shutting down of China hurt the tech sector, or will its hardship inspire new advances, like these armed guards sporting high-tech smart helmets that can automatically scan people's temperatures? Definitely not 1984-esque. Well, for big tech, the past few weeks have been most definitely not stonks. Hundreds of billions of dollars has been wiped off the valuations of massive tech companies like Google and Apple. A lot of this is simply due to the fact that if factory workers can't work, then products simply can't get made and there's less to sell. Some are even speculating that the iPhone 9 may have to be delayed due to the virus. The iPhone 9 is a rumoured lower cost iPhone, mind you, that was expected to be released in March. No reason yet to think that Apple's annual September release will be affected. Much smaller companies have also been affected. Maltronics, my hardware hacking store, has also had trouble with manufacturing. I placed an order for some Arduinos to be assembled back in February, and it still doesn't look like they'll be here till the end of March. It's important to remember that so much goes into a product that even if one component can't be sourced, then the whole thing gets delayed. For example, Sony manufactures roughly 50% of all camera sensors and 70% of all smartphone camera sensors worldwide, and it just so happens they make these sensors in China. Their CFO recently said that depending on the spread of the virus, the imaging business could be affected enormously. Now, if this does transpire, it could have a knock-on effect to the entire imaging industry. Think about it. Not just cameras would be affected. Smartphones, for instance, just can't ship if there aren't any cameras to go in them. Also, an interesting development from Tesla. Tesla has actually been downgrading the hardware in their brand new cars due to shortages. The Model 3 is meant to use a new and updated processor for autonomous driving, which processes images from the car's sensors 21 times faster than the previous version. However, it would seem people have been receiving their Model 3s fresh from the Gigafactory with the previous model's chip. Needless to say, a lot of people really aren't happy about this. And it's not just product manufacturing that has been affected. Understandably, people really don't want to be traveling with a pandemic in progress. Large tech expos like the Mobile World Congress have been cancelled. This event is usually a great opportunity for big brands like Sony and Huawei to unveil their new flagship phones with all the world's tech journalists watching and waiting. Alas, those tech giants are going to have to find other ways to release their new products. More of an inconvenience for the big players, but for smaller companies hoping to make their international debut, they're going to find themselves in a bit of a pickle, given many of them will have invested tens of thousands of dollars in booths and travel costs. For many, this represents a really large chunk of their marketing budget, which has now gone down the drain, given exhibitors aren't being refunded due to the situation being a force majeure situation, according to its organizers. Basically an act of God, but in French. So how is tech coping? What new innovations are helping us fight back? Well, there are those spooky-looking helmets I mentioned earlier. However, it should be said that temperature checking represents mostly a false sense of security. If you're infected but don't yet have any symptoms, you'll pass a temperature check just fine, even if at that stage you're contagious. Temperature checking only weeds out the actively ill, which, if they have an ounce of sense, likely aren't going to be out and about anyway. I'd suggest that measures like this are more for show, and let's be honest, it is kinda cool, but spooky. Coronavirus may just be taking hold in the West, though the debate over whether we're seeing the demise of coronavirus in China is a contentious issue to say the least. Apple had previously closed all of its retail stores in China. After all, a place where people go specifically to touch things other people have touched seems like a bad idea in a pandemic scenario, wouldn't you think? Though many of these stores have since reopened, but with limited hours. Additionally, satellite data previously illustrating the lowering of pollution levels in Chinese cities due to decreased production has more recently shown pollution is creeping back up, suggesting people are slowly crawling back to work. Furthermore, that Plague Inc. IRL map is purporting to show a massive decrease of new coronavirus cases in China. However, this is where the subject becomes a little sticky. There is a lot of speculation, and rightly so, that these official numbers may not reflect reality. China-based vloggers ADV China have some interesting thoughts on the subject. I'll leave their recent livestream in the description. Just be warned, however, you are entering a bit of a rabbit hole here, rife with opinion and conjecture. If you're watching a video like this, then chances are you're pretty curious, which is why you should at least have a look at Maltronics.com. Run by me, it has a bunch of interesting cybersecurity, hardware hacking gear. Link, of course, is in the description. So thanks for watching, guys. There's a few hours left of a competition I'm running over on my Instagram, so go have a look at my story. Other than that, I'm super interested in what you guys think of this whole situation, so let me know your thoughts down in those comments. As always, make sure to like this video. Who knows, maybe we can get it to go viral. On a more serious note, make sure to take the necessary precautions, because if Corona hasn't come to your area, chances are it's going to be there very soon. So wash your hands, stock up on the very basic supplies and all of that. Anyway, stay tuned for more hacking videos and have a good one.